What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Young Pasty, aka the White Boy Wonder, here again to break down UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira, going down at the UFC Apex this Saturday. Yo, I'm really excited for this fight. Proven vet versus up and coming prospect. If Taira wins this fight, tell me he's not getting a title shot. Tell me he's not getting a title shot. And if he isn't, I'm getting on the phone with Dana and we're having a conversation. Anywho, when I was breaking down these fights originally, I was like, man, these fights kind of sucked. But as I went through and looked at every single fight, yo, we got some pretty banging fights on here. A couple of people I'm really excited about. So I'm super excited to break down this fight night. But before we do that, I do have to recap UFC 307, my picks and my bets on there, so we'll go over that real quick. And first off, let me say, the 3 judges that were there that night suck. Fuck you guys, man. Terrible split decisions. And we'll go over them. Anyway, we went for 7 for 5 on the picks. Could have been better, could have been worse. I feel like I keep saying this every week, guys. But we got more picks right than we got wrong. So, stay positive here. Now, when it comes to the bets, damn, guys. Honestly, if one of these shitty split decisions would have actually played out the way they were supposed to, then we would have profited money. However, we lost 1.1186 units. So, that could have been also worse as well if, you know, my big locks didn't come through. But anywho, let's recap the picks. Court McGee versus Tim Means. The Dirty Bird did me dirty. Got submitted in the first round. That sucked. He lost. Next fight, we picked Ryan Spann. We got that right. He looked stellar and amazing. However, it was against a 41-year-old OSP. Let's just say that. Next fight, Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. My girl Cookie Monster got robbed on her retirement night. Everybody knows it. They booed the shit out of Pennington. And the judges got it wrong. Let's just say that. Next fight, another robbery. Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. This was another split decision. I mean, honestly, the fight was close. I do like how Hubbard fought, and I feel like he won the fight. I feel like he did more damage. Another shitty split decision. I call robbery. Next fight, Cesar Almeida. Put it on. I don't like the eye pokes, though. And he got honestly, this actually was the worst ref fight of the night. Okay? They were on the cage for maybe 2-3 seconds and the ref pulled them apart. It was crazy. And then the amount of eye pokes Cesar did, 4 or 5 eye pokes, not cool. He should have gotten a point taken away from him. Anywho, got the fight right, nevertheless. Yasmin Lucindo came through with the win for us over Marina Rodriguez. She looked pretty nice. Woo! Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy versus Joaquin Buckley. Yo, Joe Rogan, DC, Anik, glazing the out of Wonder Boy the whole first 2 rounds. And then my boy Buckley comes through with the 3rd round knockout. Ooh! And I thought he was winning the fight, or at least got 1 round. Yeah, everyone was surprised. I was screaming. It was awesome. Anyway, got that fight right. Next fight, Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland broke a rib or something. He literally said he couldn't move on and fight. That's crazy. So he's a tough motherfucker too. Got that one right. That was an underdog that cashed. Anywho, next fight, Kayla Harrison versus Ketlin Vieira. We all know how that went, right? Kayla dominated for 3 rounds. Next fight, Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. Robbery! Robbery alert! Wee woo! Wee woo! This is some bullshit. I guess you could just win fights by hugging people on the cage. Anytime they were at distance or striking, Jose Aldo had the advantage and did more damage. Look at both of their faces at the end of the fight. Virtually no damage to Aldo, and Bautista's face was fucked up. They booed the shit out of him. This was one of the worst decisions of the night. And we'll move on to the next terrible decision. My girl, my hometown hero, Rocky Pennington, losing the belt to Juliana Pena. She did not put on a performance to win and take the belt against Pennington, okay? Another robbery. And last but not least, we all knew the inevitable was coming. The inevitable was coming. All right? Chama. Poatan with the knockout in the 4th round versus Khalil Rountree. Wow. Main event worthy. What a great fight. Mad respect to Khalil Rountree for lasting that long, fighting that well. He's a force to be reckoned with. So, all in all, did okay. If one of these robberies would have not been a robbery, we would have made money. So, and last, my last little humph about UFC 307, DC, Joe Rogan, and Dana were all super critical on these judges and refs. Is anything going to happen? Is anything going to happen? Because we have undeserving winners every fucking week. Please, guys, get your shit together, UFC. Anyhow, we move on. And we are breaking down UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Taira. So, let's go to the first fight here. Clayton Carpenter. Clayton Concrete Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. Phenomenal. That's his nickname. Phenomenal. Carpenter is the favorite, minus 195. Lucas Rocha can be had for plus 165. We have 2 Dana White Contender Series alum. Both recent fights. I would say Carpenter, his fight was last year. I believe Rocha's fight was this year or late last year. Anywho, my pick for this fight is Clayton Carpenter. And I'll give you 3 reasons why. Number 1, look at how small Lucas Rocha is, and you'll see the size difference once they get in the octagon. 5'3", bro? 5'3", with a 64-inch reach. 5'3". It's pretty small, man. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but 5'3". I know this is flyweight, but damn, dude. That's tiny. Clayton Carpenter, 3 inches taller, 4 inches reach. You'll see how much bigger he is than Rocha. Second reason why I like Clayton to win this fight. Clayton's a good wrestler and a good striker. He has more experience in the UFC technically. This is Lucas Rocha's UFC debut, by the way. His wrestling, honestly. His wrestling. Once he gets Lucas Rocha to the ground, man, his size, he's just going to be able to keep him on the ground. Now, Lucas's last fight, in his Dana White Contender Series fight, he got a 2nd round knee knockout, okay? Looked good. Didn't really look too powerful, though. The whole 1st round, he got messed up, man. He got out-wrestled and was on the ground literally the whole fight. He maybe got 3-4 significant strikes in, bro. Anywho, my last reason we got Clayton Carpenter. He's got much more power than Lucas. This kind of goes into how big he is and how small Lucas Rocha is. I don't see this fight going Rocha's way. And you know, as I've said, I got my thing for Brazilians. But the level of competition Clayton Carpenter has in his 7 fights is actually much more than Lucas Rocha. Also, Clayton Carpenter is training in Sugar Sean's camp. I think he's in MMA Labs. Let me check again. There you go, MMA Labs. So he's training around much higher and better competition than Lucas Rocha is. We got Clayton Carpenter. Pretty confidently. Next fight. Dan Argueta. What's his nickname? The Determined. I really don't know if I can say that about you, buddy. Anyway, we have him going against Australia's own Cody. Haddon. Dan Argueta, the underdog, for plus 155. And Cody Haddon, minus 185. Almost 2-1 favorite. This is Cody Haddon's UFC debut. Now, my pick for this fight. It's not much so me liking Cody Haddon. It's more me fading Dan Argueta, because we'll go over into his fight history right now. Because it's super suspect. I really can't gauge how good this guy is and if he's UFC worthy. Cody only has 1 fight. It was a Dana White Contender Series fight, and he looked pretty good. All right, he was a nice striker, good takedown defense, and good takedowns. So I liked what I saw from him. Now, Dan Argueta's fight history, guys. All right, UFC debut, coming off a LFA championship. LFA, meh. Okay, you know, there's shittier organizations, but you got to make your come up somehow. So I can't discredit him for fighting in the LFA. I'm just saying, take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, your UFC debut, you lose to Damon Jackson. A Nick Aguirre win, meh. Okay, I'll give it to you. But this is where shit gets kind of weird and messy. Next fight, Ronnie Lawrence. So he goes and he's subbing this guy, right? Keith Peterson, the ref, comes in and he's like stopping the fight because he thought the other guy tapped. The other guy said he didn't tap. So they go to the replay. The guy didn't tap. The ref made a mistake. They call the fight. No contest. Next fight, fights Miles Johns, who's pretty good. But he got his ass whooped for 3 rounds. They call this a no contest because after the fact, Miles Johns was using PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. Means he was taking, not roids, but some sort of powder that's illegal. Anywho, they call that a no contest, but he got messed up for 3 rounds, bro. And then a loss to Gene Matsumoto, who really isn't that good. So, look, it's more of a fade on Dan Argueta to me than me like, oh, I'm really in love with Cody Haddon. But Dan Argueta's suspect, and I'm not putting my money on him. I'm not. Cody Haddon's a pick. We move on to the next fight. And honestly, I don't know if I like the main event more or this fight more, because I've been waiting a long time for this, guys. We got Chris Beast Boy Barnett versus Junior the Juggernaut Tafa. Barnett can be had for plus 300. A 3-1 favorite. Junior Tafa for minus 400. What? You're going to give me underdog odds again on Beast Boy? Give me Chris Barnett, boy. Give me Chris Barnett. Give me Beast Boy. Give me the big boy. Give me the guy that's missed weight at heavyweight before. I don't care if he's 10 years older than Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa is not good. He has 1 win over a subpar person in the UFC. The PP, Parker Porter. Otherwise, you're 1-3 in the UFC. You got subbed by Walter Walker last fight. Come on now. And for all of you people that are mad saying, oh no, he didn't get subbed. Bro, he was screaming in agony. Come on now. Come on now. The ref called the fight for a reason. Anyway, we got Chris Barnett taken by knockout, man. The last fight we saw was his, spinning kick leg knockout. That shit was crazy. And then he does a little front flip, lands on his booty to celebrate. I don't know. I love this guy in the mic. I love his energy. It's so hard for me to go against Beast Boy. Okay? He's the second biggest underdog on this card. The disrespect, bro. He's been off for 2 years because he got injured. But you'll see, he's going to come back better than ever. Junior Tafa is chinnable. I'm going to see a knockout. We're going to see a knockout. By either of them. Junior could catch him. But look, yes, you might think, oh, he's 5'9", he's a little shorter for this division. Got a longer reach advantage. This guy's got power, man. Look at his arms. You can even see in the picture here. They're 2 times bigger than Tafa's. I like Tafa's brother. But Junior is Junior for a reason. Chris Barnett's the pick. Big underdog. We move on. Next fight. Themba Gorimbo. What's his nickname? The Answer. I got a question for you. He's the fucking answer. Themba Gorimbo. Versus Niko Price, a.k.a. The Hybrid. Nah, your nickname's mid. Nickname's mid, Niko. Anywho, who do we have in the fight? We got Themba Gorimbo. My reasoning for this? Themba is a pretty good grappler. I don't think he's going to stand here and strike with Niko, where that's That's Niko Price's advantage, all right? He's a knockout specialist. He's looking for the KO. He's looking to hit you up. He's looking to punch. Themba can strike, but he's primarily using that to get people onto the ground. And I don't think that Niko is going to be able to hold up. Now, this is where things will get a little tricky, all right? Themba is usually the lengthier, longer person, right, in this division. But for this particular fight, Niko his stats line up pretty much the same, right? So there is not going to be any sort of reach advantage or any sort of length on Price that he has. So that may come to a disadvantage when it comes to the striking, because he's used to fighting people with not this kind of build, right? Everyone's kind of smaller than him. From the last previous fights that I've seen in the UFC, all right, he's only had maybe 3-4 fights in the UFC. Niko's a vet, all right? He's been here for a while. But he relies on that knockout. I mean, look, juicy odds. If you think Niko's going to get the knockout over Themba, go ahead. All right? We're all D-gens here. Go ahead and lay down on it if you choose to. But my pick for the fight is going to be Themba Gorimbo. I anticipate we're going to see a lot of wrestling from him, some domination on the ground. Probably a decision here, right? I'd probably lean the over on the rounds on this particular fight. But yeah, we got Themba Gorimbo. Next fight on the card. Jonathan Pearce versus Pat Sabitini. No nicknames? One nickname, JSP. Okay. You can make it a nickname if your name becomes known, right? Anywho. Who do we got in this fight? This was a tricky one. This is one of the closer fights in odds on the card, right? Almost essentially a pick'em. But I got Jonathan Pearce. Jonathan Pearce is the pick in this fight here. Pat Sabatini is overrated. He's overrated, bro. He's look. Everyone says he's an elite, awesome wrestler, right? But Jonathan Pearce is on the same level as him, if not more, right? And I think he's better on the feet than Sabatini is. He's got the bigger build. He's 6 foot. He's going to be a little more taller than him, but Pat Sabatini is going to be a little more wide, right? How do I think the fight plays out? I really don't know. We'll have to see how good Pat Sabatini's takedown defense is, because he's usually the one on the offensive grappling side. I think Sabatini's overrated, man. I think he's overrated. He's 18-5. All right, he's 18-5. Jonathan Pearce is 14-6. My gut feeling is telling me to go with Pearce. I think he's the better wrestler here. I think he has the bigger build. If he can't get Sabatini to the ground, I think he can get him on the feet. We got Pearce. We got Pearce in this fight. We move on. Oh, TBA is back again versus opponent TBA. We got a undetermined fight here at lightweight. To be honest with you, I've never seen an empty fight with nobody. I've seen one person waiting an opponent, but never two. That's kind of odd. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next fight. We got CJ Vergara versus Ramazan Temirov. Vergara can be had for plus 230 over a 2-1 underdog. Temirov at minus 280, nearly a 3-1 favorite here. This is Temirov's UFC debut, and Vergara has a few fights in the UFC. Now, this fight is kind of like the other fight I was telling you about, Dan Argueta versus Cody Haddon. It's more of a fade on one guy than me liking the other. And look, I'm going to be straight up honest with you in my reasoning for the pick in this fight. We got Temirov. We got the OV. Okay? We got the person from Uzbekistan. All right, that's the reason that we're going with this fight. The people that fight over there are wild, all right? They're crazy. They're generally wrestling maniacs and can strike a little bit too, but come out like madmen when they come into the UFC because they need this. They don't get that kind of money over there. So he's only fought regional fights. He's 17-2. But again, this is more of a fade on CJ Vergara. And if we need to go into the fight history, I will and we will. Okay? Win on Dana White's Contender Series to come in. Okay. A loss to Ode Osborne by decision, a unanimous decision for your UFC debut. I'll give you a little pass, okay? Clayton Rodriguez, meh, and you got a split decision over him. So, I don't know. Take that one with a grain of salt. Lost to Tatsuro Taira. Come on now, bro. I kind of have to give you a pass on that one because he's in the main event here and he's a stud. A win over Daniel Lasarda, he's trash. A win over Vinicius Salvador, he's trash. A loss to Asu Almabele, he's mid. All right, he's mid. We'll look at his profile too. 3 wins in the UFC, not very proven. So that's why I say mid. Anywho, and he beat Ode Osborne, who he lost to. So if you do MMA math there, you'd be losing to this guy too. Anyway, we got the Russian, Uzbekistanian. It's somewhere over there in Asia, right? We got the Ovi. Again, I've never seen him fight. Not once. I can't even find his regional fights because they're probably not filmed at all. But it's more of a fade on CJ Vergara. We move on to the next fight. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. What's that? That's the do not bet alarm. Please don't bet on this fight, guys. We got Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani versus Jared Gooden. I really don't know what to make of this fight because these guys have hot streaks. These guys have cold streaks. I feel like we got 2 cans here. I feel like Chidi's going to be the one to win the fight, though. He's the better can. He's the more durable can. He's the stronger can. I wouldn't say stronger. Jared's probably stronger, but we're not going to see any sort of wrestling, I don't think. If you want to be ballsy and put out a Jared Gooden knockout, there you go. That might be something to consider. But what I think is going to happen is I think Chidi's going to get these leg kicks in. I think he's going to tee him up on the feet. I think we're going to have a striking match for 3 rounds. I think Jared might be able to get some good punches in here and there, but the more volume is going to come from Chidi. I'd go over on this fight based upon the fact that I think it's going decision because Chidi's going to keep the distance, get the leg kicks in, and not pitter patter. He'll throw some power behind his strikes, but it's not going to knock. I don't think he's knocking out Gooden. If anyone's getting a knockout here, it's Gooden over Chidi. So consensus from me is Chidi Bang Bang by decision. We move on. Next fight. Wow, that's the prelim feature? Man, disrespecting my boy Chris Barnett. Why the fuck is that not at least not on the main card of the fight night? Fuck you guys. Come on, UFC. Anyway, next fight. If y'all thought the last fight was 2 cans, here are 2 worst cans. These guys aren't even cans, all right? These guys are fucking paper cups, all right? We got Abdul, Razak, Alhassan versus Josh Fremd. Abdul at -155, Fremd +130 underdog. These guys suck, bro. These guys are awful. See their records? Most of those losses are coming from in the UFC, and most of those wins are coming from prior to UFC. These guys suck, right? It's a battle of 2 shitty teams, right? I feel like it's like 2 NFL teams that haven't had a win and they're going in trying to get a win for the season. So, what did I do? Right? Who am I picking for the fight? Now, my reasoning behind this fight is we got a younger fighter, 30 years old. Abdul's 39. That's really it. That was my only reasoning on this fight. I'm picking the younger fighter, Josh Fremd. Shoot, flip a fucking coin on this fight because I don't know who the fuck's gonna win this. You might wanna do, I don't know, man. I'd probably say over 2.5 rounds. I don't think anyone's getting a knockout sub or anything like that in this. But for the paper cup fight, oh, Josh Fremd's a little taller than him. And got a little bit of a reach. Yeah, I'm going with the younger fighter. And he's an underdog. Yeah, this fight sucks. Why is it opening up the main? This fight right here should be all the way down here. Who put this card together? Hopefully someone comes in here and switches these fights around because this don't make any sense. Next fight. Dude. More cans. Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, versus Alex Morono, a.k.a. the Great White. The disrespect you have, Alex Morono. The disrespect you have. We're picking D-Rod. I'm the fucking Great White. Get out of here. And that's the reason for this pick. You don't disrespect the White Boy Wonder. I'm kidding. No, we do have D-Rod in this fight because Alex Morono, he's a pitter-patter fighter, bro. He's not in there looking for a knockout or a sub. He's looking in there to get volume and strikes and hopefully points on the scorecard for the judges, okay? He's one of those kind of fighters. I think Daniel Rodriguez has more power. I think he'll be able to get some heavy leg kicks in and get Alex Morono kind of wobbly. And, I mean, once your lead leg's messed up, man, shit's hard in the fight. And even though I don't like D-Rod too much, he has some cheesy tattoos. God, they're ugly. Sorry, brother. I know you're not listening to this. Maybe you will one day, but your tattoos suck. But we got D-Rod. We got D-Rod in this fight. Mainly because I feel like he has more power. He's going to land the more damage on Alex Morono. You're going to see Morono hit Daniel Rodriguez. It's just not going to be very hard. He will put volume on. But I think Rodriguez has the better power and will win this fight. No knockouts here. We got probably an over on rounds. None of the books that I've seen have round odds yet. So I can't really speak on those. But this would be a good one to go over on the rounds on. When we get into the bet section, I got a bunch of leans for stuff that's not out yet. Anyway, next fight on the card. The only women's fight on the card. Kind of crazy. They did put it on the main card, though. So give them some shine. Give them some shine. We got Julia Polastri versus Cory Mckenna. Polastri can be had for minus 130. Mckenna can be had for plus 110. See how tall Cory Mckenna is? See how tall Julia Polastri is? This is how tall that Brazilian is on the first fight, okay? He's literally the same height as these women. Anywho. My pick for this fight is Julia Polastri. You know I love my Brazilians. She's from Brazil, okay? With Cory Mckenna, I would say she's not a vet in the UFC, but she's had a few fights. It's kind of been a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. But I believe that Julia Polastri is a better wrestler here. I believe that she's going to get this fight to the ground and kind of hold her on the ground there for a while. Might even see a sub. Am I going to bet on this fight? I don't know. But the odds are pretty close. Minus 130, plus 110. McKenna's not really that big of a dog, though. I don't know if it would be worth it to me to throw anything on a plus 110 underdog I don't have too much faith on. But the picks, Julia Polastri. You know I love my Brazilians. I think she's going to get in there and have a... Oh my gosh. Hold up. Look at that reach advantage, too. It's pretty crazy. 7 inches. No, I'm stupid. 4.5. We move on to the next... I'm sorry about my math, guys. I'm just spewing, giving you my fight knowledge here. We move on to the next fight. Hey, Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. Oh, by the way, sorry, one more point to add on the last fight. Polastri's nickname is Psycho. Mckenna's nickname is Poppins. Why the fuck would you... What is with these nicknames? Alright, girls, guys, pick some better fucking nicknames. Like Cookie Monster, Carlos Esparza? Anywho, Psycho. Give me the fucking Psycho in that round. In that fight. Anyway, next fight here. Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. KGD? Rafa Garcia the Gifted? I don't know. Anyway, this is a layup for Grant Dawson. And are we going to disrespect my boy and give him some sort of easy fight here? This is the biggest underdog on the card, Rafa Garcia is. There's no way Grant Dawson loses this fight, bro. They're giving him a layup here. Take the layup, move on, and hopefully they respect you more and give you a better fight. A fucking main event fight night spot. Hey, give Dawson a main event fight against a ranked opponent. What are we doing here? Why I think he's going to win this fight? He's fucking Grant Dawson. That's why. We move on. Next fight on the card. Brad Tavares versus Jun Young, the Iron Turtle Park. Brad Tavares can be had for plus 145. Jun Young Park minus 175. We got the Iron Turtle, boy. We got Jun Young Park in this fight. That is the pick for this fight here. Brad Tavares, overrated. And honestly lackluster, bro. Jun Young Park has looked real good up until his last loss. He was on a roll, man. He was looking really, really good and real violent. Even though Brad Tavares is bigger, has a little bit more of a reach advantage, Jun Young Park is more violent. I think he will be able to get him to the ground and ground and pound because that's his forte and that's where this fight's at. Jun Young Park by KO on the ground. Second round, maybe early third round. I don't think Brad Tavares is going to be able to stuff these takedowns. And Jun Young Park has a lot of power in the fists too. Don't sleep. Jun Young Park is the pick. The Iron Turtle, boy. I don't have a shell. But I should. I should put a little shell, like my turtle shell on if I get one. We got the Iron Turtle here, boy. Represent. Next fight. Last fight. Main event on the card. Look what we've come to, guys. The last fight on the card. All right, we got Brandon Royval, a.k.a. Raw Dog, versus Tatsuro Taira. Brandon Royval can be had for plus 185. Tatsuro Taira minus 225. Raw Dog. What a nickname. Royval trains out of Colorado. Beat Brandon Morono on his last fight. Didn't win. Okay. That was... a lot of people will agree with a lot of people will agree with me if they watched that fight. He didn't win that last fight, okay? So I don't think he's deserving of the rank he's at right now. Pretty good striker. Mid wrestler. Doesn't really use it too much. More of a defensive wrestler, if anything. Tatsuro Taira. The prospect. See those 2 zeros on his record? 0 losses, 0 no contests, because we don't get there. Alright? Taira's a beast, man. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys. I faded him on his last fight with Alex Perez because I thought once he goes up to a pretty experienced vet that he would lose into a 5-round fight, right? But we didn't get to 5 rounds, and he blew. Dude, this shit was crazy. Put him on his shoulder, right? Threw him on the ground. Excuse me. Threw him on the ground on his shoulder and got a KO there. But I'll be honest with you guys. He was getting teed up in the first round, okay? I would say he borderline lost the first round. Now, Taira's powerful, okay? He has good striking, and he's when he gets this shit to the ground, he goes to work, boy. He's really good on the ground. I like his ground and pound. He has really good submissions. Pretty good on the feet. I think Royval is going to want to try and keep this on the feet, keep his distance, and kind of work his way in to get his strikes in on Taira, but the longer this fight goes, the more I favor Royval. I don't think we're going to get there, though. I think Taira can get him to the ground and ultimately get the KO. I like his ground and pound game along with Jun-Young Park. The pick's Tatsuro Taira. And still undefeated. 17-0. Beats Brandon Royval. And then goes on to fight for the belt. That's my pick here. Tatsuro Taira. Keep in mind, Royval has lost twice to Alexander Pantoja. Taira's a better wrestler than Royval. We got Tatsuro Taira. So that's the whole UFC Fight Night, guys. That's all the picks. All right, so we're going to head over here, and we're going to list them all out. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. All right, picks. We'll roll through. Clayton Carpenter. Cody Haddon. Chris Barnett. Beast Boy. Themba Gorimbo. And you already know I'm saying these names wrong, but I don't care. Jonathan Pearce. Ramazan Temirov. Chidi Bang Bang. Njokuani. Josh Fremd. Probably spelled that wrong. There we go. Daniel Rodriguez. Julia Polastri. Grant Dawson. Jun-Young Park. And Tatsuro Taira. There is another fight that wasn't announced yet, so if it does get announced, then I'll throw the pick out on Twitter. Now, bets for the card. Guys, we're taking the sportsbook's money this week. We are coming out ahead, all right? I got some bangers for you. So let's load these up and get this fucking cash. First pick. First bet. Dawson plus Park. We got 1 unit on it. We got it for minus 103. Almost plus odds. 2 confident picks. I'll take it. Next. Tatsuro Taira plus Clayton Carpenter. Plus 121. 1 unit. Most of my bets on here are going to be plus money. Or if they're not plus money, a little bit of minus money, a little bit of juice. Nothing too crazy this week. So, but this, Chris Barnett, boy, we're putting 1 unit on it. We're putting 1 unit on it. We're getting the underdog to cash. Quit disrespecting my boy. Now, it said plus 300 on ESPN, but I got it for plus 285. It's lower than that number in most places, so make it even lower come fight time. All right, so those are my big boy plays this week. We got 3 1-unit plays. Dawson and Park, minus 103. Taira and Carpenter, plus 121. Chris Barnett, plus 285. Now we're going to move into my half-unit and quarter-unit plays. We got Jonathan Pearce, half unit at minus 130. A justifiable, money lineable single bet. All right? He wins, we win. He loses, we lose. We don't got to depend on anybody else, so I like it. Now, next one. Taira plus Park. We got half a unit on this one. This one came out to plus 131. Now, this is kind of my backup to the Dawson plus Park and Taira plus Carpenter, in case Dawson or Carpenter have bad nights. Imagine if fucking all of these lose somehow. That'd be crazy. Like, one of these combos has to get right? Unless all of them just fucking lose. But we're not putting that energy out there. We're getting dubs. Next bet. I call this the you guys should win this fight bet. Gorimbo plus Rodriguez. Both of them should win. We got it for plus 104. Half a unit, buddy. Slap it on there. Next bet. This is the prospects bet. Haddon plus Temirov. Sorry, I was reading my notes here. We got half a unit on it plus 114. Not bad. Justifiable. Next. Josh Fremd. Yeah, I'm betting on a can fight. Actually, I called it a cup fight. I'm betting on the cup fight, and I don't fucking care. We're only slapping a quarter unit on it, plus 136. One of them has to win, right? If it's a fucking draw, I'll get my money back. I think that's how it works. Anywho. I'm just putting this out there to have some interest in the fight, right? If you watch a fight, you don't got any money on it. I mean, you can watch it, but if you got a little bit, you got a little interest in it, you got a little skin in the game, then you're a little more interested in the fight, right? Let's put a quarter unit on it and have a little fun. Put a quarter unit on it and have a little fun. If you don't want to do it, I don't blame you. I think it's a stupid decision, but I'm a degenerate, okay? Again, one of them has to win this fucking fight. Give me the younger dog, Josh Fremd. Now, my last pick, another quarter unit pick. This is if all my most confident picks go according to plan. Park, Dawson, Taira, and Carpenter. Plus 333. Put quarter unit on it. I would say these last two would be, you know, if you are going to tail my picks, or tail my bets, I would separate them like that. These are optional. These are kind of risky plays. The Josh Fremd is kind of like a fuck it bet. Let's have some fun. The last one is capitalizing on my confident picks. But here are all the plays. What are we at? 3 units, 4 units, 5.5 units. Okay. We're going to have a good week, guys. I appreciate everybody watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share to your friends. I appreciate the support. YP is out. Let's get this cash.